Hey, this is Dr. Long with Westview Wellness. Thank you guys for tuning in to our Facebook Live for this week. So a lot of times, probably at least once a week, if not every day, I have somebody come in and they're like, oh, I can't move my neck. It's so stiff. I just woke up this way. Or I felt it creeping up. I did some yard work and then they get really stiff and they can't turn and their mobility is limited. There are 5 common reasons this happens. And I'm not saying that these are like the reasons everybody's neck hurts, but these are 5 of the common things that I see that causes it to happen. And I wanted to address it so people at home, if you're experiencing this, have some tips and advice on what to do. So the first reason why it could happen is because of hydration. For me, I've noticed if I have a couple glasses of wine at night and I don't drink enough water, my neck is going to stiffen up the next morning. I'm going to wake up with that whole stiff neck syndrome, and that's no good. So if this is happening to you or you're starting to feel that, make sure you drink a lot of water. Lots of water, no coffee, alcohol during this time, lots of water. Second thing is it could be from bouncing. So I have had people who are like, oh yeah, I was on the trampoline with my kids over the weekend, or we were playing in a tournament or running around. And that can also cause it. If anybody who's had a crick in their neck has attested to, if you are riding in a car and there's a big bounce, oh, it can really hurt and irritate the area. The third reason is if you are carrying anything heavy. I am speaking to one of my friends who may be watching this live now, but she and I are vertically challenged. Not a big secret that we are 5'2", or I think she's 5 feet. But anyway, she couldn't reach something in the upper cabinets, so she had her daughter sit on her shoulders. Her daughter was 10 at the time, and that caused her neck to stiffen up. Anything heavy, especially if you're going to Disney World, obviously pre-quarantine, and you have your kids sitting on your shoulders, I've seen that cause it too. The fourth thing is if you held your neck stiff in one position, like if you were trying to change the oil under your car, or if you were helping your child do their homework and you were leaning in one direction, or maybe you fell asleep and your head was in a funny position, that can definitely contribute to it. And then the final reason that I see this happening is because your neck has been bent for a long time. I'm pretty sure all of us are guilty of this, looking at our phone, our iPad, our computer, our tablet. I get on my children all the time about that. So these are the 5 most common reasons you could get a crick in your neck. What are we gonna do about it? Let's go through each of them again. Number 1, the first thing was hydration. So like I said, drink lots of water. You need to stop drinking any coffee, sugary drinks, caffeinated beverages. No matter if they say, oh, Coke gives you hydration, really just stop and focus on a lot of water until this gets better. Number 2 is bouncing. So no bouncing, no bouncy houses, no bouncing a child. That can often happen with new parents who are trying to soothe their kid, but then they irritate their neck. The third thing is trying to carry something heavy. For anybody who's had this, they know that carrying something heavy just really irritates them. Even picking up their purse on their shoulder or carrying a gallon of milk can just inflame the area that's already tender. The fourth thing that we talked about is keeping your neck in one position. So don't do that. Make sure you get up every half an hour, and move around, roll your shoulders. And then the 5th and final most important thing is, like I said, bending forward. Our necks are made to be in a C curve. I went over that last week in my Facebook Live. So what you want to do is do Mackenzie exercises for your neck. These are super simple. All you're going to do is try and sit up and tilt your head back as much as you can without pain, and come back to neutral. Back and back to neutral. And you're going to try and do that 10 times every hour that you're awake. It is a lot. It's a pain, but it's really, really valuable. This is what I do when I get tension and a crick in my neck. It's best to go backwards and back to neutral. Back and back to neutral. Now you may say, oh, Dr. Long said back. She also means forward. Oh, I do not mean forward. Do not mean forward, because that's what got you in here in the first place. Looking down, keeping your head in this position. So going back, I'll demonstrate from the side, and back to neutral. And you don't even have to go that far back. It's not like you have to go into full extension. Even just 10 degrees and back to neutral can slowly start to help that area. This same principle that I just talked about for the things that will help the neck and the Mackenzie exercises are also what we use for the lower back. So for people who come in and they're like, it's really hard for me to walk, or when they first get up they're really stiff and then once they walk they get a little bit better. I think we've all been there, or we've seen our parents or loved ones who've had this. So the same 5 principles apply. Hydration, don't bounce, no running until this gets better. The third thing was carrying something heavy. It's better to squat down and pick up whatever it is that's heavy instead of bending forward. The fourth thing is staying in one position. And the fifth thing that you want to avoid is bending forward. A lot of people feel like, oh, if my back hurts, I should bend down. I should stretch out my hamstrings. I should put my leg like this and stretch. No, this is the time where it actually might be worse. Some people will say, oh yeah, before I get out of bed each morning, I lay on my back and I bring my knees to my chest and I hug my knees in. This is the time where it's bad to do that. Sorry. It is safer to do Mackenzie exercises and extensions. So standing, you're going to just lean backwards. You see how my knees are not bending. I'm not going like this. I'm just trying to hinge at the waist back and then back to neutral. Again, 10 times every hour. So these are just some practical tips that we have already, and we hope that it can really help you guys. If you have any questions, please write it down in the comments. Please share this video to your friends and family. We are open at Westgee Wellness for emergency visits. And of course, if it's too hard to get in, if you're concerned about coronavirus like we all are, we are also open for telehealth. And telehealth may be something that will help you remotely. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Were there any questions? Okay, great. Bye.